Raider Nation, what is going on? Chief High Smoke back to you with another one. In this one, I want to talk about Christian Wilkins and the bad news out of Las Vegas. But first, I want to give a few shout outs to R&J Jason, Raider Nation Jason, a guy that gave a new Chiefs content creator a chance to talk football on his channel. And I really appreciate that. That shows a lot about your character. And Chris for Raiders, someone that I had an opportunity on that show to talk about old school Raiders football with, someone that you can tell has been watching the Raiders and the game of football for a long period of time, someone I respect his takes and views on the game. So if you're a Raiders fan, make sure to go check out R&J Jason and Chris for Raiders. Those two guys are where I go watch my Raiders content and get most of my own views and takes on things is from those guys and the guys that they have on their show too. I mean, there's some pretty impressive people that they have and knowledge of football and of the Raiders. So go check those shows out. I'd appreciate it. This video is about Christian Wilkins and the Raiders putting him on the physically unable to perform list. I have sources inside that Raiders organization who tell me Wilkins is going to miss the first 8 games of the year. They're going to say he's going to miss the first 4, and it's going to turn into 8 games. Because when you miss the first 4, it's going to turn into week 5, week 6, week 7, and then week 8, you got to get back into game shape and game strength. This is $100 million man. They're not going to rush this injury. This is an injury that takes time to heal. And if you're continuing to put pressure on that foot and not able to get blood flow to that injury, then it's not going to heal properly. And that's exactly what's happened. He's broken his foot. This is an injury that takes a lot of time to heal. And it's due to poor blood flow. And it happens a lot. This can happen with a lot of people. I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I think Wilkins re-injured it while he was training. I think he was on pace to be healthy for this season, but he re-aggravated the injury while he was training. So Pete Carroll has came out saying that this injury has been frustrating. The Raiders brought this guy in to be the next Chris Jones. They're retired of seeing Chris Jones hurting them for a long period of time. They brought in Brock Bowers. They were tired of Kelsey hurting them for a long period of time. So they're kind of becoming, a little bit of a mini Chiefs. They're just kind of searching for that long-term quarterback, searching for that defensive coordinator like a Spags. But they're kind of fitting that mold a little bit. Now, I want to talk about a little bit about Christian Wilkins. The Las Vegas Raiders prized offseason addition from last year is still working his way back from the injury that sidelined him for most of last season. The Raiders need Christian Wilkins in the mix, but we'll have to wait a little bit longer as he's going to miss the first 8 games. The Raiders recently put Wilkins on the physically unable to perform list. Now, here's where it gets crazy. Luckily for Wilkins and the Raiders, there are 2 different PUP lists. There's an active PUP list and the reserve PUP list. The Raiders have put Wilkins on the active PUP list, meaning they can activate the veteran at any time. Now, as a fan, a Raiders fan, and you're looking at any type of hope from this injury, are they going to put him on the reserve active list, being that he's a $100 million man? So I can't really look anything into that. He's going to have to be active. There's going to have to be a little bit of hope for him to be playing this season. And that tells me they do have hope for him to play this season. So, however, if Wilkins is still on that PUP list after cutdown day, he's going to have to miss the first 4 games of the season. And I think he still will. I think he's not going to be playing any preseason games. When you pay a guy this much money and, you have a foot injury and you're close to 300 pounds, you're going to want to, stay off of that foot for a long period of time. Hey guys, it's not going to be into October where this guy really starts getting back into football activities. So You know, uh, Patrick Graham, the Raiders defensive coordinator, really said this about the group other than Wilkins. I love the group. The group has been, I think, the spearhead in the defensive ends. They spearhead the message about the effort in terms. You see those guys running around. I know you haven't been at every practice, but they're running around doing a tough individual with Robbie Leonard and his crew over there. So that's been the most positive thing that I could talk about without getting into specifics. But the effort and how they play and the play style, the relentlessness they play with, and then on top of that, they bond, they build off the field. I'm an old linebacker coach, old D line coach, but if I ever need a pick me up, I'll go sit in the room. Go sit in the room and just listen to them bond and how they communicate is pretty cool. So that's Patrick Graham. Basically talking about his defense. The Raiders ended up keeping this guy around. They could have let him go, got with a whole different staff, but they feel like Graham has been around these defense guys like Malcolm Kuntz, Max Crosby, Adam Butler, guys that have been around for a while, and I'm sure that lobbied for a guy like Patrick Graham to still stay in the locker room. But Christian Wilkins will go down as the worst free agent signing in NFL history. It's going to pass Albert Hainsworth. That was the worst one up until now, but Christian Wilkins is going to be the worst. You got to think that the way that this is looking, he's going to possibly have to miss time this season. And will he ever get back to the guy that he was in Miami? So you hate to make a negative video on the Raiders, but I just had to make one on the Chiefs too as well. I had to tell you how many games I think Rasheed Rice is going to be suspended. So this is it's tough to do sometimes. Sometimes these videos are tough to make. You never want to do injuries or suspensions, but um, football isn't around for the whole 365 days of the year. So you have to kind of do these other things that have to do nothing with football. It's a shame that they happen, but they have to be reported on. Thank you guys for watching, and I appreciate it.